our class. Okay, welcome everybody to Amazing Apples. We are excited to have you here. Just to let you know, we offer closed captioning. So if you want to, feel free to click your toolbar at the bottom of the screen to turn on or off your closed captioning. And this is being recorded, so if you do not want to be on the recording, turn your video off. Otherwise, if you do not mind, keep your video on. All right, welcome to Amazing Apples. So, we are talking about apples today. Does anybody here love apples? Feel free to type it in the chat box. Okay, awesome. I'm getting lots of yups, yes. Love them. Honeycrisp are my favorite. Totally agree. Honeycrisp is also my favorite. Awesome, good. I'm glad that we have some apple lovers in this class, which makes sense why you signed up for this class. Okay, so for those of you that do not know me, my name is Isabel. I am a health educator at Bronson. I am excited to be here for our Amazing Apples class. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw me yesterday, if you joined our Cooking with Bronson Sundays class, but I'm excited to be teaching another class today. And if you keep watching the bronsonhealth.com/classes website or your newsletters that you get in your email, then you'll be able to see some of our upcoming classes. So we have all of our upcoming classes scheduled between now and December. And hopefully soon we will have our winter classes scheduled and figured out. So thank you for joining us for Amazing Apples. And so we are gonna begin. Okay, so today we're gonna go over a couple of things. We are gonna talk about why apples are good for us. We're gonna play some apple trivia to see how well you guys know your apples. Discuss some out of the ordinary ways that you can use apples. And then you're also going to receive a couple of recipes for apples. Now, what we have been doing is we have been sending these outlines out to our class participants. So sometime next week, you should be receiving an email that has a survey as well as our apple recipes and our outline for the class. And that will be coming out sometime the end of next week. So keep your eyes open for that for your outline as well as your recipes and everything else. So what I want to know from you all is, what color of apple do you prefer? So I'm going to launch a poll, and if you've never been on our classes before, the way the poll works is I launch a poll, it'll come up on your screen, you can click an answer, and then we will see what the winner of the answer is. They're all anonymous, so feel free to answer whatever feels good for you. So I'm going to launch this. All you got to do is respond by clicking the answer you agree with, and then we will see where we end up. I'll give you guys about a few more seconds. All right, ending the poll. So it looks like red apples are in the lead, followed by green apples, followed by yellow apples. I'm going to have to agree with those who voted red, because that is also my favorite color of apple. The green, it's a little too sour for me, but I do know that lots of people love it. And then the yellow I do like every now and again as well, but I have to say red is probably my favorite. So thank you everybody for sharing. Okay. Now I want to know, what is your favorite way to eat apples? Do you prefer to eat them raw? Do you prefer to eat them in something? Do you prefer to eat them on top of something or dipped in something? I would love to know your favorite way to eat apples. Feel free to type in the chat box or chat or unmute yourself if you do not have access to chat as well. I would love to know. My favorite way to eat apples is with peanut butter. Okay, we've got raw with Colby cheese in a salad, dipped in peanut butter and pancakes as is. Lovely, lovely. Applesauce any way possible in pie. All right, these are good. Baked in dessert. Nice, nice. no problem with that for me, because I do love myself an apple pie every now and then. Peanut butter, good. All right, so it looks like we've got lots of people that like apples in lots of different ways. So why eat apples? Okay, so we all know that we love, ooh, made into cider, that sounds good. So from your cat answers, it looks like all of us know that we like to eat apples because they're flavorful, and you can eat them in so many different ways. Well, why should we eat apples? Why are apples good for us? So there are a lot of things that apples provide for us, including vitamin A, C, fiber, potassium, lots of different things. So vitamin A is really good for us because this is a nutrient that helps us with our vision, for cell health, reproduction, and immunity. Vitamin C is really great as well for us because it helps with the health of our blood vessels and our muscle. It helps to help build healthy hair, skin, and nails, and helps your body's healing process. And it also helps your body to absorb and store iron. Also, apples are very high in fiber, which is awesome. Fiber is really good and important for us because it helps to keep our digestive system healthy and in tip-top shape. And then it also helps you to keep you fuller longer. So the great thing about apples is they're a good source of fiber. So eating that by itself or in something is going to up your fiber automatically. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard this before as well. We want to try and keep the skin on our apples because the skin is where the really where it's way more dense in nutrients, basically. So try to keep the skins on your apples. It's okay if you do not like the skin and you peel them, that's still okay. You're still getting vitamins and minerals, but by eating the skin of the apple, it is going to be better nutritionally. They also have some potassium in there, which is necessary for the normal functioning of cells. It helps to regulate our heartbeat, and it ensures proper function of the muscles and the nerves, proper function of the muscles and the nerves. They're sodium free, which is really great too, because diets that are low in sodium can help reduce the risk of high blood pressure. And also diets low in sodium may reduce the risk of heart disease. And apples are naturally sodium free. Also, they're just tasty and versatile. There are so many different things that you can do with them. There's so many different varieties and flavors. And so we are going to be talking about that today, some of the things we can do with them. Because there are, trust me, lots of different ways that we can add more apples into our diet and follow the whole an apple a day keeps the doctor away saying that everybody says, right? Okay, so before we get into that, I want to share with you how you can find a perfect apple. So you want to make sure that you're choosing apples that are firm and lack softness. Apples should be well colored and free of bruises, pitting, decay, or insect damage. These are just great ways to make sure we're choosing really good apples. I got an apple from the grocery store not too long ago that I didn't look at very well, and I got home and it was in rough shape. There was gouges all in it and it was decaying like on like the core area. So needless to say, that was not a great apple to choose. So when you're choosing apples, take a second to look over the apples to make sure they are in good condition. Okay, now I'm going to launch another poll. So you guys are sharing with me some ways you like to eat apples. So I want to know, are there any toppings? Which of these toppings do you prefer on apples? Or if you don't like any of these toppings, then you can just type in the chat, you do not like any of these toppings. So for the poll, I'm going to launch it again. Feel free to choose the answer you agree with, or if you agree with none of them, you can type that in the chat. We've got caramel as a topping, peanut butter as a topping, or melted cheese as a topping. Like a fondue kind of. Okay. All right. It looks like caramel is in the lead for this one. I also like caramel on my apples. It's very delicious. It does have a lot of added sugar in it. But like I say in all of our classes, like Chris and I say in all of our classes, there is room for everything in your diet as long as you are eating a balanced diet of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean proteins and low fat dairy. There is room for everything. And right now is a good time of year to eat caramel apples. I know that's a very popular snack right now. And one way to eat it, to make it a little bit easier to eat, is instead of dunking your apples into the caramel, taking a little bit of caramel and just kind of drizzling it a little bit onto your apples, which of course could help with the amount of caramel that is on your apples as well. Peanut butter is a great thing to add to your apples. Lots of good protein and healthy fats in that. So that sounds great. And no choices for melted cheese. That is kind of surprising to me. I know some people like the fondue with dipping their apples in cheese, but I okay. So what do you know about apples? So this is a little trivia game. So in all of our classes, we like to add a little bit of fun to our classes while also learning a little bit. So we are going to play a little trivia game. So you can type your answers in the chat, or you can unmute yourself to share verbally if you do not have access to the chat. So really quick, any guesses on how long humans have been enjoying apples for? Is it 500 years, 1,000 years, 3,251 years, or 8,521 years? Any guesses? Feel free to type it in the chat or unmute yourself. Okay, we got some good guesses in the chat. Nice. Okay. Let's see. Good. Got a lot of good guesses. Awesome. All right, let's take a look and see what the answer is. 8,521 years. So the cool thing about this fact is that archaeologists have found evidence that humans have been enjoying apples since at least 6,500 BC. So that is a long time to be eating apples, which is why it makes sense that apples are a staple over here. They're good for you, they taste good, they're popular, and they've been enjoyed for a long time. Okay, question number 2. Which plant family do you think apples belong in? Feel free to type it in the chat, unmute yourself. I'm gonna try and pronounce these, but I don't really know. I'm gonna talk about the family. Heather family, rose family, citrus family, or the barberry family. That seems easier than the scientific name. All right, let's see what you got. Okay, you guys know a lot about apples. That is correct. They belong into the rose family. If you've ever seen an apple grow on a tree, at the beginning stages, it's this very, very beautiful flower. So yeah, they belong in the rose family. All right, which month is National Apple Month? Any guesses? Okay, we've got some October guesses. Yeah, pretty much everyone is guessing October, and that is correct. Yes, this month in October is National Apple Month, which makes sense because apples are in prime season right now and taste absolutely amazing right now. Okay, true or false? Apples have phytochemicals in them. True or false? Good, got some true guesses. Nice. Well, that is correct. It is true. So apples are really great. So we're going to be talking about what phytochemicals are. So apples possess rich contents. Now, due to high values in various polyphenols of apples, apples have exhibited beneficial effects on the health against cancer, asthma, cardiovascular diseases, Alzheimer's diseases, decline in normal aging, weight management, and diabetes. So this is basically a nutrient that helps to keep us healthy. So if you ever heard, antioxidants, phytochemicals, there's lots of fruits and vegetables that have these, and apples are one of them. So it's a nutrient that is good for us, pretty much. And eating apples helps to protect us from all these different, diseases, cancer, asthma, cardiovascular diseases, etc. So needless to say, apples are good for us, and a great way to include them in our diet is by adding them in lots of different ways, either through breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a snack. And we're going to be talking about that in just a couple minutes. Okay, in 2021 or 2022, 7 states collectively produced roughly 234,488,095 apple crops. Which state is not one of the states that have produced collectively this amount? What do you guys think? Good guesses. Nice. All right. The answer is Wisconsin, which is very interesting because apples are grown in Michigan, and Wisconsin is not that far away from Michigan. But yes, it is. They do grow apples there, but just not collectively as much as these other states do. All right, I think we got 2 more trivia questions, and then we'll get into the meat of our presentation. All right, true or false? 100% apple juice is just as good for you as eating the whole apple. What do you guys think? All right, we got a smart group. That is correct. It is false. Now, 100% fruit juices like apple juice are totally fine in moderation, and they actually contribute to a serving of fruit on My Plate. And if you don't remember what My Plate is, or if you've never heard of it, My Plate is basically our food guidance system. It's basically the new food pyramid with the food groups and the types of foods we should be trying to eat each and every day. And fruits and vegetables is half of the plate on My Plate. So we should be trying to eat half of our plates fruits and vegetables. Now, 100% fruit juice is okay and counts as a serving of fruit on My Plate. However, even though you can still get vitamins from 100% apple juice and other 100% fruit juices lack the valuable fiber that the whole fruits do. And like we talked about in the beginning, fiber is really important for us because it helps to keep our digestive system in tip-top shape, as well as many other great things. So 100% fruit juices can have a place in your diet if you enjoy them, but to get the most nutrition, choose the whole fruit. You're going to get more fiber, and it's going to be keep you fuller for longer, and it's just going to be better. But if you love 100%, apple juice, that's okay to drink in moderation, just like everything in our diet is okay to have in moderation. Okay, what gives apples their unique colors? Feel free to type your name or type your answer in the chat. And then we've got, if I juice a whole apple, is it not as good as eating the apple? So when you're juicing the apple, you are still losing that skin. And in the beginning, we talked a little bit about how eating the skin on the apple is going to have the most concentration of the fiber and the vitamins and minerals. And so again, 100% juice is okay. Even if you juice it your own, that's totally okay. Like the vitamins are still there, 100%, vitamin C, all of that is still there, but you are still going to be lacking a good deal of the fiber. Okay. Now, what gives apples their unique colors are actually all of the above. Now, these are pretty scientific names, but little fun fact for you guys. So the most common colors of apples are red, green, and yellow, but they have different hues. And this is answered through pigment. So chlorophyll contributes to green apples, carotenoid to yellow apples, and anthocyanin is a pigment that gives red apples their vibrant color. However, interestingly, yellow apples actually start out as green, and as they grow, the chlorophyll in them that they contain breaks down, leaving only those pigments, and then the same thing goes for red apples. So you're still getting, good things from all the different colors of apples, but those are the different scientific things that contribute to the different colors of their apples. All right, that was the end of our trivia. Thank you all for playing. I hope you learned something new in that little trivia. So now we're going to move on to a little fact for you, and then some ways that we can eat apples and different tips on how we can eat apples. So apples can be stored in the fridge for 4 to 6 weeks. So these are some tips to help you store apples to eat them at their most peak time. So 4 to 6 weeks in the fridge. If you store them in a plastic bag with holes, it helps with the moisture. If possible, keeping them in a crisper drawer in your refrigerator is a great way to keep them nice and fresh. And then before you're eating an apple, just like we do with all fruits and vegetables, make sure that you are rinsing them in cool water. But one thing that some people do, because they think, oh, the skin of the apple is going to protect the fruit, all of that stuff. If you are using something that's other than either water or like a vinegar water mix, those things can actually kind of leach into your fruit through the skin. So do not wash apples with soap or a detergent or a bleach, because these liquids absorb into the fruit. And of course, we do not want to eat those things. So when you rinse your apples, the best way to do it is just under cool running water, scrubbing them with a veggie brush or rubbing them really nice with your hands, or using one of those like vinegar water mixes that are made specifically for eating fruits and vegetables, not washing them with soap or detergent or any of those harsh chemicals. Okay, so now I want to know, do you all like to pick your own apples or buy them from the store? What do you guys like to do? Pick your own, go to an apple orchard, walk through the apple orchard, or buy them from the store? Picking apples, yeah, lovely. Buying apples, prepare to pick if possible. They like both ways. Buy them at the orchard, that's a great idea. Fresh pick at the orchard, farmer's market, yeah, awesome. This is really great. I like them both ways. I love going to the farmer's market or to like an apple orchard and getting the apples there, but also I'm totally fine with buying apples at the grocery store as well. But if I have the chance to go to an apple orchard, I would prefer to do that. Okay, so now some things that you can do with your apples that are nice and fun. So the first thing that I want to share with you is by making apple quesadillas. So you can rinse and slice your apples and then add them to a cheese quesadilla. This is really delicious. It's a little sweet, a little salty. It seems interesting, but don't knock it till you try, because it's really, really tasty. So adding some chopped apples to a cheese quesadilla, kind of grilling them on, the stove top or however you like to make your quesadillas is a great way to eat. All right, apple and squash soup. This is really good as well. Creamy, sweet, savory, and plus it's full of really great nutrition. You guys are actually going to be getting the recipe for this apple and squash soup. It's a perfect and delicious soup for the fall. I don't know if anybody here loves fall foods and one of those fall foods is soup, but if so, this is a great recipe to try. Okay, really quick break. I want to know from you guys in another poll, what time of year do you like to eat apples? Do you like to eat them in the fall, summer, winter, spring, or all year round? Okay, so we've got quite a few votes. A lot of people are saying fall, but most people are saying that they like to eat apples all year round. And then some people say that they're best in the fall, which I agree with. They taste the best in the fall. But it's a great thing to eat them all year round because apples are good for us, and there's lots of different ways we can use apples. Sometimes I feel like in like the spring or the summer that apples are like sort of soft, which is not my favorite thing, but maybe I just haven't found the right apple in that time of year. But otherwise, fall is a good time to eat apples and all year round. Okay. Another great way that we can incorporate more apples into our diet is by mixing them into batter. I don't know if anybody has ever tried shredding apples into bread or muffin or waffle or pancake batter, but by shredding apples to that batter, it's a great way to add some sweetness, add some moisture, add some nutrients to it. And it just is a really fun way to do it. If you've ever had a apple cinnamon waffle, if you've never had that, I highly recommend them because they're super good. And all you got to do is shred some apples into your waffle mix, add a little bit of dash of cinnamon, mix it all up, and then either put that in your waffle iron or put it on your pancakes, make it into pancakes, whatever you like to do to eat it. But definitely try adding shredded apples to these batters. It's a great way to add moisture and texture to your baked goods. Another great idea is apple salsa. So this is something that people are kind of like, oh, I don't know about that. Like that seems a little interesting. That seems a little unique. I'm not sure about that, but it's very delicious. So So all you got to do is mix together some apples, mix together some chopped bell peppers, squeeze of lime juice, jalapeno, cilantro if you like it, a little drizzle of honey, onion, salt, pepper, and then you can enjoy that with some whole grain pita or tortilla chips, or this is really, really great to eat on top of chicken or fish. So if you're like, oh no, I don't think I'm gonna take a tortilla chip and eat apple salsa, like that does not seem like the great way to eat this for me, then I highly recommend you trying to put it on cooked chicken or fish. It adds a nice little sweetness, a little flavor, a little texture to your dishes. And then someone asked, what is the best way to shred? And my favorite way to shred is through a cheese grater, honestly. I think using a cheese grater is the best way to shred an apple. Just be really careful when you're shredding it so you don't accidentally get your fingers. But that's my favorite way. If you don't have a shredder or don't want to do a shredder, you can always cut your apple up and then you can just dice it really thin, or you can kind of julienne it, whatever sounds good to you and whatever works with the equipment that you have. But I prefer shredding my apples on a cheese grater. And someone says attachment in your food processor. Ooh, I didn't even know they had attachments in your food processor to help shred apples. That's awesome. I'm going to have to look into that. And then Denise is asking if the recipes will be included in the email we receive. And yes, it will. You will be getting recipes in that email next week. Thank you for asking. Okay, moving on. An apple burger. Type in the chat if an apple burger sounds like something interesting to you, or if you kind of are like, I don't know about that. I'm just curious what people have to say about it. Type in the chat or unmute yourself if you think apple burger is something you'd want to try. Ooh, somebody says they put it in meatloaf. Ooh, yeah, that's great. That's great. People say not sure about it. Some people say interesting. Some people says yum. Okay, so we've got a good mix here. So, apple burger, really interesting, but delicious. So all you gotta do is finely chop or shred apples, add it to ground beef, and then mix it with spices and seasonings and flavors that will complement it. So Dijon mustard is a really great flavor to kind of add with it. Now, if you're like, no, like my burgers are just straight beef, like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I recommend you try adding a slice of apple on your burger to see how it tastes. So my focus that I work with is actually young kids, K through 5. And every time that I talk with kids when I'm in their classroom, I say to them, you never know if you like something until you try it. Now, it can be scary to try new foods. I totally get that because I'm the same way with, some types of foods. But you might be surprised at something if you have never tasted it before. It might seem interesting to you because the way that we've learned and grown up is, this goes with this goes with this, and you've never thought about doing it this way. But it's playing around with food is super fun because that is a great way to change up your daily routine of food, and try something new, because maybe if you're sick of eating the same old burger, try making this into an apple burger and see what you think of it. And if you don't like it, all right, you tried it, but maybe you'll try it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. This is going to be in my rotation of food. So definitely, I highly recommend it. It's really good. And if you have kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews, this is also, an interesting thing for them to try as well, to kind of expand their taste buds. So again, try shredding it and putting it in your ground beef, or trying some thin slices on top of your burger to see if you like it. Just adds a little bit of nice sweetness to it. And if you shred it, you can't really taste you can't really feel, I guess, the crunchiness of the texture because you're going to be cooking it in the burger. And it makes it really nice and juicy too. Okay, so I want to know from you, out of those couple of interesting, unique ways of using apples, which one are you most excited to try? Someone said they try it with ground chicken rather than beef. Yeah, ground chicken would be great. That would be great. Salsa, quesadilla, salsa, the burger. All right, quesadilla on top of the burger. Okay, good. I'm excited to hear back from you guys. If you try these, please let me know what you think, because I like all of them and I would love to hear what other people have to say. Okay, So did you know that more than 7,500 apple varieties are grown worldwide? So I know I heard some people say in the chat that they really like Honeycrisp or Pink Lady or Gala. Those are all just a couple of the varieties of the lots and lots of different varieties that are grown worldwide. Okay. So I thought I had this slide in there, but apparently I do not. So a couple more tips that you can use for apples, which you'll get in your email that you get as well, are making applesauce in a slow cooker. So these ideas that I'm about to like say to you are just some ways that you can use up those extra apples. Like if you go to an apple orchard and you pick lots of bushels of apples or whatever it is, and you just have so many apples left over, these are some ways you can use those apples. You can make applesauce in your slow cooker. The way you do this is by coring and dicing your apples, adding some water, cooking on low until the apples are soft and mushy. So if you have some apples that are like kind of getting to that stage where they're getting a little bit softer or whatever, an applesauce is a great way to use up those apples rather than throwing them away. So after they get soft, mash them, let them cool a little bit, and then you can go ahead and add some spices, honey, etc. to sweeten, and then keep it in the refrigerator and eat it however you like, throughout the week. Another way is to dry your apples. So you can do this by thinly slicing your apples, dusting them with cinnamon, placing them on a cookie sheet, and baking them at 225 for about 2 hours or so, or until they're curled and lightly browned. It's a nice treat. You can add cinnamon, you can add nutmeg, you can add ginger. Those are all really, really good spices to add to these dried apples. You can also freeze them. I don't know if anybody's ever frozen their own apples before, but it's very easy. All you have to do is, slice, dice, core, your apples, put them on a cookie sheet and place them on a single layer on a cookie sheet and place them in the freezer. And then when they are frozen about 2 hours or so, take them out and you throw them into a Ziploc bag, and then you just put that Ziploc bag back into your freezer. Now, to prevent them from browning, you can spritz them with like a lemon and water mixture, and that's a great way to kind of help with the browning of the apples when you put them in the freezer. But then you'll have frozen apples to grab whenever you want, especially if you're picking your own apples in the fall time when they're, at prime. If you're picking them in the fall and then you're freezing them in the fall, then you have those frozen apples all year round, and they're like the prime apples because you got them in the fall. Now, you can also use those frozen apples, throw them in smoothies, throw them in ice cream, make them into apple crisp, throw them into your oatmeal. So lots of different ways you can use those frozen apples. And apple sandwiches, adding apples to your salads, to your sandwiches, they're especially good on a turkey sandwich. Apples and turkey are really nice complementary flavors. And also by doing this, you're adding more nutrition to your sandwich. So we always like to say, however you can add more fruits and vegetables to foods you already eat is a great way to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And then finally, another idea I have for you is to make these things called granola and apple sandwiches. And if you've never heard of them before, they're very cool, they're very cute, and they're very delicious. So basically, you just slice apples into discs, and then you top them with some peanut butter, a little bit of granola, some dried fruit, some nuts, etc. And then you put the other disc on top of it, and it's like a cute little apple sandwich that is absolutely delicious. So that would be apples, peanut butter, granola, dried fruit, nuts. So you can tell that there are so many different ways that we can use apples. We just have to find what we like, what works with our taste, and then try different ways, because the more ways you can add apples into your diet, the better, right? Just like the more ways you can add any extra fruits and vegetables into your diet, the better. Okay. So these are some of the recipes that you guys are going to be getting in that email. You're going to be getting a recipe for breakfast apple cinnamon oatmeal cakes. You're going to be getting an apple bacon and sweet potato mini casserole recipe, an apple pie smoothie, some apple cider chicken. These are all really delicious recipes that you will be receiving. So keep your eye out for that email. All right, everyone. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. Our class ended a little bit earlier, which is totally okay because now you have some more time in your morning. So thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, we'll be getting you those that email with the outline and the recipes to you in the next week or so. Have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or stay on, and I will see you guys hopefully next time. Thanks for joining us. All right, if nobody has any questions, then I am going to sign off here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.